Thank you, everybody, for being on time. I wanted to go over the agenda first. We're here to review the community of practice goal that we implemented this last time and revisit the problem of practice and revisit the evidence-based strategies that we are using to improve that. We're then going to review student and implementation data, including student engagement, student independence, adult implementation and fidelity, and student group comparison. We will then go over the collaborative evaluation, review progress towards the goal, discuss evidence changes in educator practice, discuss evidence changes in student learning and or well-being, and identify the remaining barriers. Then we'll develop recommendations, what practices should continue, what refinements are recommended, how can implementation be sustained, and what additional professional learning or support is needed. Then we will have our consensus on recommendations, summarize key learning, confirm the next steps, and thank the participants. So our educational focus is on improving educator implementation of evidence-based instructional supports to increase student engagement, independence, and access to instruction for students with extensive support needs. We are collaboratively evaluating implementation results, analyzing student and educator data, reflecting on the effectiveness of the evidence-based strategies, and developing recommendations for sustaining effective instructional practices. Would anybody like to start?
Prior to implementing the hierarchy, even putting their name on the page required a prompt. And now they can put their name on the page before requiring additional prompting. So I feel like getting started has improved because they can do it more independently before prompting is required.
So you saw it was slow to begin, but how are you viewing it?
And I haven't really got to many opportunities to implement those hierarchies of support.
To monitor and enforce it is going to require a lot more coaching and involvement from the teaching community.
I think that the approach and going through that continuum and that hierarchy, it allows for students to have opportunities for independence.
In reviewing the progress towards our goal using these interventions of using consistent language, using visuals, and implementing a least to most prompting hierarchy, we've seen evidence of changes in student learning in the extensive support needs group.
So it seems like it's like diminishing returns. Because it's not something that they're not needing to do a lot of the same kind of prompts to get the students engaged. I'm not seeing it as being as impactful.
So might we list that might be one of the barriers then, is that general ed teachers have had less practice or could use more practice and examples?
Or that they also, I mean, and maybe it's worth doing some just a survey with the general ed teachers or even just all the teachers, just to get maybe we could get some more standardized information from them as far as, do they feel like they use it? Do they feel like the class benefits? Is it making an improvement? Or is it just getting an idea of how their opinion is of the value in the different grades and the different classes?
I was thinking it might take more time for it to catch on in gen ed because it's really a tier 3 level support. And the majority of their students don't require that level of support where you're really thinking about the continuum or the hierarchy of prompts. So if they have students who are mainstreaming into their classrooms that require that level of support, they need to be familiar with it so they can also support paraprofessionals. So it's not just training the paras, but it's training the gen ed teachers to help support students with special needs.
So I guess in our developing recommendations, which practices do we feel we should continue with?
I believe so. When kids are transitioning into mainstream, it is so important to have some consistency, and having the teachers all well versed in the same procedures will be much better.
Is there any way we can ensure that the implementation will be sustained?
I think it might require some professional development on these topics initiating into the new school year. So everyone's on the same.
I think so.
Okay. To summarize, we implemented using a similar language for transitions, utilizing visuals that were shared throughout the school with all the teachers and the aides. Least to most prompting hierarchy so that people were giving kids a chance to get to work on their own or correct their behavior on their own before intervening. That showed the most growth were the students with extensive support needs. And we feel like that these are worth continuing into the next year, so that our next steps will be developing a training for the new year.